I like to go to play with what would it look like if there was an extra 10,000 at the end of next month in my account. Like, because I noticed for a long time that there was 50,000 euro in my account. And even no matter, like, I was getting more and more clients, I was, making a lot more money, but the money that was in my account seemed to stay at 50. Now, there was lots of reasons for it.
Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Life and Business. My name is Rosa Camero, your host. Life and Business is a podcast where we talk about money, love, relationship, family, and how these ingredients come together in a perfect recipe in an everyday life. Today, we have an amazing guest. Well, you're going to learn a lot about her. Her name is Lisa Fox. She's a business and confidence coach. I was her client. We worked together. I mean, without her, I wouldn't be where I am today with this business, with Rosa Camero and Prosperity Girls Hule and everything that is happening right now in my business as a person and having my personal brand. Welcome to Life and Business, Lisa.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Rosa.
Please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me to shut up when you need me to stop. So yeah, as you said, I'm Lisa Fox. Right now I'm a business and confidence coach and have been doing this for the last 2 years. But like you, I come from a creative background. So my life, from when I was a little child, I was a musician, a writer. Then, as an adult, I became an actress. I toured the world. I was on stage and on TV. Never quite made it in the movies, but everything that I learned in my life and career as a performer really informed and inspired my business. Because I started out as a confidence coach, just confidence coach, but I was coaching women, mainly mothers, in business. What I really learned as a performer was how to be confident. And I mean, I learned it from the ground up because I was the least confident person in any room for a lot of my life. And what I found for myself was when I applied everything that I learned about confidence and how to develop really rock solid confidence, when I applied that to my business, that's when my business went, because there were about 3 years when I had decided I wanted to have an online business. There were about 3 years where it really didn't go anywhere. I made a sum total of 50 euro in that first 3 years. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Where am I going wrong? Why I'm not as good as all these other people. I don't have, all that business experience. And even though I actually did, I had an in-person business for the last 15 years before that. But suddenly I realized so my in-person business was a performance school for children. And I realized that actually what I was teaching the children was confidence as well. And I was like, it's just because I don't have the confidence in business that it's not going anywhere. So let's experiment and see if I can just work with my own confidence processes on myself and see if that really impacts my business. And Rosa, like, it was magic. And any creative person, any performer will tell you that, and not just any creative person or performer, but any person in business, confidence sells. It's confidence that gets you into rooms. It's confidence that gets you the doors opening for you. It's confidence that convinces people that you're the one. It's confidence that your certainty about yourself puts other people at ease. And so things become a no-brainer for the person you're in front of. And then it means that there's no convincing involved. There's no, trying to negotiate. It's just, I'm here. I am who I am. This is what I can do. And I know it can help you, whether that's, production company, an audition, a job interview, a business that you're trying to set up, clients that you're selling to.
Something that you mentioned during this introduction is that comparing ourselves. Like, this is a topic that we face. And I think as creatives, coaches, whatever, like as just humans, we tend to see other people's lives and see, oh, they have it so well. And then ourselves, we treat ourselves really, really bad. So how was your process from comparing yourself? And then you said you had this business where you didn't make money, and then you were like looking at others, why they are having having the success, but I am not.
Comparing yourself is so natural. Right? It's what
Yes.
From we're born, our parents compare us to our siblings, or we see people comparing, like there's just so much of it around us. And when we see somebody else succeeding, we can't help but look at all the things that they are that we feel are missing in ourselves. Definitely part of the process is deciding that, not that you're not going to compare yourself, because that's impossible, but maybe that you're going to notice the differences and decide that everybody has their own different but equal power, right? And when you decide that, you can actually start deciding that you are the one in your own way. But that's actually, even though that sounds almost like a conceited thing to decide, like kind of going, I'm choosing myself, I am the one, I am amazing, right? But actually, when you do move towards trying to decide that, it's an incredibly vulnerable thing to do. And it takes a very strong commitment. It's not that it takes a very strong person, because anybody can decide to do it. And actually deciding to do that is what makes you really strong. But when you decide, I'm incomparable. There is nobody else like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I have all the things that I need to succeed. What happens for me anyway, and the vulnerability that comes with that, is that you kind of go, oh shit, I decided that I wasn't going to succeed. I gave myself all the excuses not to succeed. I'm the one that has stopped myself from doing this, especially when you start seeing the evidence of it working. When you decide that you're the one, when you really are clear about what you want, and you decide that you are worthy of having that, and it starts to work, and you go, oh my God, all those years, I actually just spent my time deciding that I wasn't the one.
Yes.
And that's what stopped me, right? But you get there when you get there, you know when you know. And you can't, for me, I decide also, and this is like, again, part of the process, but it's something that's really fundamental to me. I really decide that everything that has happened to me and everything that I have done, whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, all contributed to help me rise. Everything. All the painful situations. It's one thing when you're at the very beginning stage. Like, I think there is such a different set of confidence issues that come up when you're just starting out.
Yes.
And in really simple terms, what it looks like and manifests as is a fear of failure, right? And then once you come out of that, once you work on that, and you start going for it anyway, right? And start using all your courage until you have the confidence, and things start working, and you start making money, or you start, making it at a certain level. Then when you've got some success and you see your potential, and you actually realize, I'm unstoppable. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. that's when the fear of success comes in. And there's a whole set of other things that come up when you
Yeah.
reach that level.
You have levels. You reach like level, like every time. Or maybe it's like the same fear, but in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned something super important is like taking ownership, by we're responsible of our own lives. And I think something that I see again and again with creatives is that they hope someone's gonna come and save their lives. Like someone's gonna come and discover them. Someone's gonna come and pay them lots of money because they're so great, they're so talented. But when it comes to do the hard work, like cultivating yourself, like showing up on social media, because right now it's not that you have talent, but they also measure in they are influencers, that they have followers, they have a good presence. It's like all these things, but I think the most important is what you say is like taking ownership and be responsible.
Self-responsibility is the ultimate. It's the ultimate. When you realize and accept that nobody is coming to save you, that nobody really cares about your life and your journey the way that you have to. And when you accept that, and not only accept it, but like kind of realize, oh, that's actually quite liberating, you know?
Yes, it's like,
It's
oh,
like,
okay, I can do it.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like it's me.
Exactly. It's like this permission slip. Go be selfish because everybody is. It's human nature and it's okay. Yes, it doesn't mean that because we're all fundamentally selfish. It doesn't mean that us doing the thing isn't going to be the best thing for everyone, because it usually is, right?
Exactly.
It's good for when we succeed, it's good for our families, it's good for our communities, it's good for the world. Yeah, there might be a few people that are triggered and jealous and whatever. And actually, it's good for them too, because it shows them what they want, right? If they
Exactly.
see it that way, but you're not responsible for that. But what's really interesting as well that you said, so Rosa, I don't know if when you were my client, I had developed the confidence queen archetypes.
It was only one. The first one, that was a rock star.
That's right. Okay. So the
Yeah.
rock star confidence queen.
Yeah.
So with each confidence queen archetype, there is a shadow side, or what I call a retiring identity, the part of the self that is that archetype that goes, oh God, I can't do it, right? So with the rock star archetype, the retiring identity is the undiscovered genius, right? And I know, and you know, right? And I want everybody to know that when you are a creative, it's what you just spoke about there. When you're creative, a lot of the time we have this notion that somebody should come and discover us.
Yes.
We can like be the very, very best in our field. And we could be hiding behind a rock going, I'm so good. I know how good I am. Why am I having not been discovered yet? Why has nobody like just plucked me out of oblivion and gone, you are you are the one, right? And I really had my own journey with this as an actor. Like I was absolutely the undiscovered genius. I was in my acting training, and I did my acting training as an adult. I was 27 years old when I started to train to be an actor. And so by the time I was a fully fledged actor, trying to be a fully fledged actor, I was almost 30. I arrived on the scene. I did my showcase at the end of my training. I did my whatever. And I was like, ta-da. And I knew I was like one of the best in my class. I knew it. I wouldn't have even started that training at that stage of my life if I didn't know I was so good, right? But I thought doing the training was that what would help me to be discovered. how
Yeah.
how innocent I was. Like, so what I realized, so after I finished, and I have this thing with three years, right? So with my online business, it was 3 years where I was like, why has nobody discovered me? It was the same with my acting career. I came out of my acting training and I was like, where is my agent? And
Yeah.
where are all the
Worse.
auditions I'm supposed to have? And there were 3 years, Rosa, 3 years where I was completely the undiscovered genius, and it was so painful because because I knew how talented I was. And it's not that I didn't have any auditions. I had a few, I just didn't get them, right? I didn't get the job. I didn't book the gig. So I started to look around after like probably 2 very painful years of going, maybe I wasn't meant to be an actor. Maybe I'm not being seen. I'm not being booked. About 2.5 years in, I was like, maybe I should give up. And then I was like, I've spent too much money on this and too much time, and I am not backing away from this until I at least give it a proper shot. And so I did what I always did. I looked at the people who were succeeding. So the people in my class that were becoming, like, 1 or 2 of them were becoming famous, right? So, and other ones were not famous, but like getting paid work, actually on the scene. For a while before I decided to do this, I kind of hated them, and I was comparing myself to them, and I comparing myself, but also going, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me. They're just assholes, and they're really selfish, and they're really self-promotional, and they're really like, they've got the right connection. Really, I was just judging them. But so when I started to study them and go, okay, what are they doing? I was like, okay, they are not just waiting for the phone to ring. They are at all the events. They are showing their faces. They are they're doing other things outside of their paid work. So they were putting on profit share shows, and a lot of them had like, and that, to me, that's choosing yourself, right? It's like, here I go, I'm making this opportunity for myself. And so I
they
started
are creating opportunities for themselves.
Exactly. And so I was like, I made that decision. I was like, I'm going to go to everything. I'm going to create things. I'm going to take every opportunity and just see how it goes. So I got some opportunities, and one of the opportunities that I got was to produce an aerial show. Now, I had some producing experience because I did a film, and so I had done a lot of producing in the film. Somebody asked me what I produced. I can't even remember how this happened, but somebody said, would you produce this aerial show? And I was like, yes. I mean, part of me was going, oh my God, I'm such a failure as an actor that I have to produce a show. And then I was like, no, who knows what I'm going to learn here? So produce the show. It was a sellout show. Absolutely. I was like a really good producer, and I knew that, but I didn't love producing. But the gift that it gave me was, from that, I got several opportunities to be a producer in small productions, small acting, small theater productions. And again, I was like, I don't want to be known as a producer, but I'm going to take it anyway. Who knows? Like, I was also like, I also then decided to produce my own show, and be in my own show. But what I really learned from producing the shows was, every time I was on this side of the table instead of that side, the actors who came in to be auditioned were all really, really good. Like, I realized that the directors and the producers were not choosing based on talent, because it was a given. If they called you in for an audition, it was a given that you were talented. It was a given that you were a really good actor. And so in that retrospect, I was like, oh my God, every time I was called for an audition, it was because I was a good actor. But I went in with the nerves of, are they going to choose me? Am I the one? Will I fuck it up? I'm too nervous. Da, da, da. But when I saw this, I was like, oh my God, like maybe 6 months later, I started getting more auditions and started showing up to those auditions. But I showed up with such a different energy, because I showed up as an actor who knew she was really good, who knew that other people thought she was really good, but also just chose herself as somebody who was really good. And I walked in with confidence, and I started to book gigs. And then I had a really successful career as an actor. But I decided to stop being an actor because I got pregnant with my first child, and I didn't want that lifestyle anymore, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Changes, and it's fine. I mean, it's just sometimes what you wanted like 3 or 4 years ago, you don't want it anymore.
That's right. That's right. And that's also okay.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You mentioned something about learning the skill. It's like, I don't want to produce, but it's like that was something that opened your eyes. And I think we're going to go into the business side, that is like, as a creative, you think that you don't need to know the business side, that you don't know about the money side. Like, I don't know how many creatives, artists, performers, filmmakers is like, oh no, I'm not, I don't manage the money, and I don't even know how much money I have in my bank account. Like, unless like, if my credit card or my card works, it's fine. I'm okay with it.
I know,
So
I was that person.
I want to ask you, how is you, Lisa Fox, that now you're a successful coach, you have a successful business, you were also a performer. How is your relationship with money, and how has evolved during the years?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I think as people, everybody has money shit, right? Because it's such
Yes, it's something that is there.
it's such a loaded topic, right? We all have our money stories, we all have our money history, we all have like ancestral stuff about money.
Generational trauma.
Generational trauma, absolutely, right? But I was definitely the person who, even at the beginning of my business, who was like, I've always been a person who has always had enough, but never an overflow. Now, until the last couple of years, right? But it was because I always felt like I deserved just about enough, but no more, right? Now, there are people whose set point is, I deserve, like my normal might be, there's always enough money in the bank account, but never enough, never more than enough, not enough to go on holidays, not enough to have luxuries, not to go and stay in a hotel for a weekend, never enough to like buy designer clothes or anything like that, but enough to eat, have a house, to have the normal things in life, right? But some people's energetic set point about money is always behind on rent, always like completely ignoring it, and like not knowing whether or not their card is going to be accepted when they buy groceries, or in debt, like hundreds of thousands in debt, or always around 10K in debt. And find people always, when they're not aware of their money behavior, they find a way to always recreate their norm. So even if somebody whose norm is like 10K in debt, and somebody hands them 10K and goes, here, that's for your debt, pay it off, and then they're at zero, generally speaking, they'll find a way very quickly to come back to 10K in debt again, unless they start working on their money mindset, right?
Yeah.
But now, okay, I still have a tendency, Rosa, to want to ignore the money. So I do have to be very deliberate and intentional about looking at it. Now, I did a lot of work on my own money mindset, and I've raised my kind of what's in my account default, like my what do we call it, like my energetic minimum.
Zero.
Yeah. And by a lot, by a startling amount, by an amount that I would never have dreamt that I would ever have in my account. But the challenge now is always to kind of, like, for me, I like to play with it. I like to play with the idea of money. I might not be answering your question. You can get me back on track in a minute if I'm going off. But I like to go to play with, what would it look like if there was an extra 10,000 at the end of next month in my account? Like, because I noticed for a long time that there was 50,000 euro in my account. And even no matter, like, I was getting more and more clients, I was, making a lot more money, but the money that was in my account seemed to stay at 50. Now, there was lots of reasons for it, obviously, and lots of details. But I looked at all of that and I was like, okay, well, that makes sense, but I need to, like, I want to see it increasing. I was like, then I would just kind of go, oh, wouldn't it be lovely to like see 60K? Wouldn't it be nice to see 70K at the next month? And now what I play is like, an extra 10 grand at the end of every month, just sitting in my account.
What I do with my account is like, when I take a look at it, I just add a zero in the end. It's like, Yeah,
Yep.
it's nice instead of thinking, oh, I have 500. So like, oh, I have 5,000.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is, and it's like, I think even though it might seem like, I don't know, it might seem frivolous to kind of go, well, I mean, obviously putting a zero at the end doesn't mean that you have, but it's like feeling into that. It's feeling like, oh, that would be nice. Just playing with it actually has really helped me with that. But of course, there's the other side, that you really have to be looking at it, because I think that when we ignore money completely, what ends up happening is we ignore all of the things that make us money, right?
It is true. It is true. Like we just ignore and avoid money as a plague. I used to be like that. I used to be like, I don't know, like maybe 10, 12 years ago. I was like, no, I want to take a look at my bank account. I don't want, like, I have money for my rent. I have money for my things. It's fine. And it's like,
Yeah.
I think I check my bank account once a month or maybe twice. And
Mhm.
then I was complaining all the time that I don't have enough money. I don't have
Yeah.
enough money. Nah, nah, nah.
Yeah. And
So
we say, like, I used to say, I don't really care about money, right? But I would also say, I want to make a million. You know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
the two
yeah,
things
exactly.
the two things don't go together. But I think it's that, like, saying I don't care about money, there's that the knock-on effect of, I don't care about money, I'm not going to look at money, I'm not going to make a serious attempt at making money, I'm not going to take myself seriously around money, I'm going to hide behind this rock and hope that I get discovered and somebody will just magically give me that
Exactly.
million. Whereas if we go, I want to make, I always say a million because that's what I used to. Now making a million is my actual goal this year, right? And it's a realistic goal. But a couple of years ago, maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago, I always said, I want to make a million, want to make a million, want to make a million, right? But now what I've learned is, when you hold that make a million and also go, there's nothing wrong with me wanting to make a million. I really do want it, because when you say, like, I want to make a million, I don't care about money, the universe, I'm always talking about the universe can't understand two different things at the same time, right? So if that is your focus, if you truly want to make that, there's a knock-on effect with that as well. So it starts with, I want to make a million, I care about money. I want to make
Exactly.
a million, I deserve money. I
Yeah.
want to make a million, I'm going to look at money. I want to
Yes.
make a million, I'm going to like do the things. So in business, it's like, I hear a lot of coaches, because coaches are generally my clients. Coaches will say, I got into this to coach people to change the world. I don't want to do marketing. I don't want to be a marketer.
Yeah. What's the
But
same with creatives? It's the same.
right, and that's why I'm using that example. But it's like, yeah, but your chances of being an amazing coach who actually serves clients can only really happen if you do the marketing, because the world doesn't really work like that anymore. Or if it does, it's a unicorn who sits at the top of a mountain that people hear about word of mouth and go to them. But I tell you, the guy that's sitting at the top of the mountain, right, who people, whisper about and go, oh my God, he's amazing, or she's amazing, and I've heard this, and they do miracles and whatever, that person's not getting paid a lot of money for that. A lot of the time, the person who's sitting at the top of the mountain actually probably is doing it for free, no matter how amazing they are, right? Or people are giving
Or
donations.
they got there because they had marketing. Like
Yes.
like it like
And they didn't
yes.
start with a team of marketers, right?
Of course not. Like
They
I always think when I have this, even if my background is in marketing, I still have blogs around marketing and showing off,
Yeah.
and you know and then it's like all the companies, all the companies around the world, like even the more multi-million dollar companies, billion dollar companies, they start with one person
Mhm.
working from their garage or whatever.
Mhm.
Is And they needed to market themselves, they needed to sell an idea.
Yeah.
So you see like these huge, even coaches or performers, or they needed to work,
Yeah.
they needed to market, sell themselves,
Just put themselves forward.
Exactly.
Put themselves forward in a big way, not in a little way.
Yeah.
Not in a like, I'm over here. Don't look at me. It's no, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm good enough. I can do the job. Let's see. You don't
Yeah,
want to
exactly.
define. And I think that's also the thing that really helped me being a creative, like coming into business, was that it got me ready for all the rejection.
Yes, you told me that a lot of times, and I want you to I want you to tell us more about this a rejection mantra, or how do you say it's like turn over that fear to rejection.
Yeah. Well, the way I see it, I don't know if I always saw it this way. I certainly didn't. I mean, I wasn't always very resilient. And my heart would break sometimes when I wouldn't get a job. But I actually, oh God, dare I even speak about this? I might start crying. But when and I think this was kind of the turning point for me. I wasn't getting a lot of auditions, and I got an audition for a job that I didn't really want. I didn't really want it, but it was the only audition that I had. And it's the only audition that had come up for me in months. And it would have meant that I would have had to move from Dublin up to Belfast. And like the play, I liked the play, but when I met the people in the room, the director, and I didn't like, I mean, it was a role where I would have had to act and play violin. So I'm a fiddle player as well. And they wanted me to like they were like, oh, can you play the piece but now start like doing like the Vanessa May, like doing all this kind of stuff? And I was like, oh God, I really don't want to do that. And it just felt really cringe to me. And I kind of had this feeling, this is not going to be a good play, right? This is not going to be a good production. But I really worked hard for the audition, and I really did a great audition in the room. I didn't get the part. And I was like, if I can't even get a fucking part that I don't want, what am I doing? Right?
But you didn't get it because you didn't want to.
I didn't get it because I didn't want it.
It
But
wasn't for you.
No, it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was a gift. But that's the vibe that happens when you're in extreme scarcity, when it's like when you just haven't put yourself out there big and loud and proud. And I don't mean that literally. You do not have to be loud to be confident or to take up space or to be impressive, but you do have to stand in front of people and be able to be yourself and be certain of your abilities. That's it. That's what confidence is, right? The rejection of that hurt so much because I wasn't yet in the vibe of putting myself out there big and bold. I was like, by chance, out sheer luck, I got this one opportunity, even though I was hiding behind a fucking rock, right?
Yeah.
And it hurt so bad to be rejected when I only had one opportunity. But here's the thing. When you're creating a lot of opportunities, when you're big and bold and creating lots of opportunities, you're going to get rejected loads. You're going to get rejected more than you're going to get accepted. Yeah. But when you've created a lot of opportunities and you've gone big and bold, you only need one opportunity. You only need not one opportunity. You only need one win. You only need one job. You can't do more than one. Maybe you could do two jobs at the same time, but that's stressful. And I've done that before, right? But you only need that one success at a time, right?
It's the same for business. I think
it's exactly the same for
you're
business.
Gonna get more no's than yeses. Like whoever is thinking out there that, oh, having a business or like having the win-win-win-win means yeses all the time.
You're never going to be for everyone. But, and again, I think that's what confidence is. It's just going, I'm not going to be for everyone. And that's okay. That's kind of that's actually really that's a blessing. Because if you were for everyone and if every single opportunity you had panned out, You'd be overwhelmed. You wouldn't be
Yeah.
able to function, right? It wouldn't be possible. But that lesson is what I really have carried over it with me into my business. That lesson made me resilient to, like, it doesn't matter if 10 people say no. If one or two people say yes, then I've got what I need. I've hit my goal,
Yeah.
right? And I think it's also, it's, like, and this applies to both, like, both things are exactly the same as far as I'm concerned. But it's having that abundance mindset. It's like the opportunities are there, and I've just got to decide and focus on what I want and start here and take the steps towards it. Like I was talking about the million euro, dollars, whatever, taking the steps towards that,
That,
rather than
yeah.
going, I want a million, but I'm going to hide over here, and I don't like money, and I don't deserve money, and like when we go,
Yes.
okay, I want to make this amount of money. I want to have a business or a job or a production or whatever it is. That's what my ideal outcome here. This is what I want. And if you really own the fact that you want that and really focus on that and start here and turn your focus towards it, and then let the knock-on effect happen. And yes, all this other shit will probably still be here, and you'll probably have moments of comparing yourself and imposter syndrome and I don't like money and I don't want to look at money and all that stuff. But if you stay turned towards the thing that you said you wanted, you will automatically just take steps towards it. I say automatically. It's the bigness and the boldness is actually in just turning towards it, right? The
Yeah.
bigness and the boldness is having the courage to go, I want this and I'm worthy of it, and it's okay to want it.
Yeah. It reminds me, like, how many times we have procrastinate on doing something. It not because we don't want to do it, but we are afraid of doing it. It's like, what if like we are afraid of failure? We are afraid of
We're afraid of
even
people judging
success.
us. We're afraid of, like, for me, we talked about this. I don't know if this is before we started the podcast or before you hit record or after, but we were talking about this at this, when you're at the beginning stages, you have that fear of failure. And once you succeeded a bit, it turns into a bit of a fear of success, right? Because
Yeah.
once you start succeeding, and we're kind of aware of this from the very beginning, but you know that when you become the star, whether that's the star, like producer, actor, director, whatever, or the star business person, right, who's making millions, you know that some people are going to be triggered by that. And we all have a fear of being rejected from the tribe, right?
Yeah.
I've lost friends. I haven't even made my first million yet. Have I? No, I haven't made my first million yet. But I'm going for a million this year. And I know, because I've experienced it, some people can't handle that. Some people need to look away, because, and by say look away, they need to try and tear you down. They need to say mean things to you. They need to, like, not be your friend anymore. They need to, whatever, tell you you're not good enough. We fear that from the very beginning, right? And so some people never get started because of that fear. And when you get to the stage where you're doing it, and then you've experienced it a little bit, it can feel sometimes like, oh, my whole life is going to explode if I actually make it to here. But the truth is that it's not. There were always going to be some people triggered, but Rosa, it's never the volume of people that you thought it was going to be. It's only ever one or two,
Yeah.
here and there. Most people actually really need to see you succeed so that they can know it's fucking possible for them too.
Yes, you're an inspiration. You're helping others. You're
You're
like
helping.
having a ripple effect.
Yeah, and I really, really believe that even the people who you lose along the way, they need to see you succeed as well. But you're not responsible for them. And it is sad when they go, or it's sad when they say shit to you. But you're not responsible for them, and you're not there to save them. They can only
Exactly.
save them.
It's just exactly what you were saying about you're afraid of rejection, like the tribe is going to reject you. So you, as a very successful business owner, coach, and creative person, how have you protected yourself? Like I always say, having a community where they support you, having someone like having a coach, having your tribe, like having that tribe, so you can actually have that support. Because growing is also painful. It's like when you go to the gym and then you are working out and then you have all these painful
aches,
joints and muscles, and that. But if you want the result, or if you really like, you need to move your body. That's the way it is. Like growing in the money and confidence and whatever you're doing, you need that support.
So you need to protect yourself. And I think, like, so I do several things because, Rosa, I have the softest heart. Like, I am an absolute softie, and I'm incredibly sensitive. And I hate to think of anybody. I hate to think that I cause anybody pain, even if they fucking hate me. It tears me up. But I also, like, have been a bit of a people pleaser, and I don't think being a people pleaser is a good thing at all. I think when we people please, we're really trying to manipulate people. We're trying to manipulate them into liking us, right? Which is, any manipulation is not good. So yes, these things have caused me a lot of pain. And I think the hardest part of that for me has been thinking that there's something wrong with my pain, that other people are stronger and they don't feel the same pain when they evolve in the same way I have. And what I've really learned is that that's not true. Everybody who has gotten to a very successful place has fallen apart several times along the way, because it hurts when shit like that happens. But you are right. We need to protect ourselves, and we need to find ways to cope with it and stay strong and protect yourself. So I have a few things that I do. And the first thing is, yes, coaches. Like, so I have, I've invested in, oh my God, I've invested so much, like all along my journey. And it's the best thing that I've ever done, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing without the support that I've invested in. I wouldn't be doing it if I hadn't invested in somebody who's further along the path than I am, or maybe not further along the path, but has insight into my blind spots, right?
Yes.
Somebody to help me to navigate success, and so somebody to help me to role model it for me as well, right? So it's the best thing I've ever done, and complete game changer. And I don't know anybody who's succeeded either creatively or in business without investing in support, right?
Investing in themselves.
Yeah, but that's what the support is, support for themselves. So there's that. I also have I've made some incredibly good friendships with people who are like-minded, because you know that saying, Rosa, you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the average. That's what it is. You're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. And so I've surrounded myself with some really incredible people, right? And like, it sounds obvious, but the way that I've done that actually is in the communities that I've invested in being in, right? So the people who I've become best friends with, business besties is what we call it, but like the people who are that support system, who I'm not paying, are usually come from the communities in which I've invested in, right? So that's been a huge factor for me. And it's not just here's and then also family. My husband is amazing, and I have some really good friends who don't do anything like what I do. And then there's one other thing I have, and this is going to sound a little bit off the wall, but like, I have my tarot reader, and I have a psychic. And that really helps me as well, because I really believe in it, right? And it just supports the vision. A lot of people will invest in the support and kind of, invest in a mentor, and that can really work, and it does really work. But in order for it to work, you've actually got to ask for the support that you invested in. Because I see so many people, my clients, and this is a topic of conversation all the time. I tell them, come and get the support that you invested in, because there is a tendency for people to invest and then think that the investment itself is enough, right? But
Yeah.
if you don't, when you're at your most vulnerable, when you're actually trying to navigate the difficult situations that come up, it seem almost more painful to be vulnerable enough to ask for the support that you need in those moments, right? And I
Yeah.
used to do this. I used to invest and then try to figure things out on my own, and then only come and tell the coach or the mentor or whatever after I had figured it out. Right? After I
Yeah.
had done the thing on my own or whatever, or not, or I wouldn't have figured it out, and I just wouldn't even talk about it. And I see that in my clients too. But I've really noticed that, like, the more I'm willing to, like, okay, yes, invest, but then show up and just let it
Do the
all hang
work.
out.
Do the
Yeah,
work as well.
do the work and cry if you need to, and and say, this is
Yeah.
shit, and and like, I don't know what to do. Or I know what I would tell somebody else to do, but I need somebody to say it to me, right? Um, that's the big game changer when it comes to the support and protecting yourself. Like, now, the way I operate is, whenever anything happens, whenever usually big fears or big blocks are triggered by events, triggered by a client coming and saying, this isn't working, or a client coming and saying, I'm leaving. I want a refund, right? Yes, we can be strong and resilient, and that can still hurt. And it can be really difficult to have the conversation that needs to ensue, right? But that's when we literally, that's the moment where sometimes I have a tendency to forget that I've invested in support, and kind of go, oh, I need to figure out how to navigate this. And I need to figure out how not to feel any pain about this, when actually neither of those things are the helpful thing. You need to feel all the feelings, get the support, and then show up like a badass leader and deal with the shit that happens,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Amen. Out of time already.
I don't believe you.
We can keep talking and talking about all these things, like so many things. I wanted to talk about motherhood and juggling life with kids and business, but we need
Well,
to do like
can
a
I
part
say
two.
one thing? Can I say one thing about the motherhood thing? People use motherhood as, and we all do, it's like, I can't do this thing and be a mother, right?
Yeah, we put it as excuse.
It's
I
a lie.
agree.
It's
I
an
have been
excuse.
there. It's an excuse. Like,
Yeah,
yeah. I
absolutely.
agree.
We can do whatever we want. And actually, what I have found, when I decided that I was going to do this, even though I'm a mother, actually being a mother helped me to succeed. It gave me it's the why. It gave me the motivation. It gave me the impetus. It's like, I need my kids to see me as the role model that I am. I don't need them to see me as a victim, a wallflower, somebody who never actually chased her dreams.
Yeah.
It's more important that, and I even though I'm doing a lot and succeeding a lot, I spend lots of time with my kids. I spend enough time with them. Very happy with the amount of time I spend with my kids.
Yeah, that's amazing. For me, it's the best time management.
Yeah.
Like, I remember in my 20s, like, I could have so many time and I didn't do anything. So now it's like, I'm doing it. I have 2 hours.
That's right. Go, go, go.
Do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make it happen.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. I mean, I am also doing this because I want to break generational trauma, like show my kids. I have 2 girls. So it's like show them that being a woman is amazing and they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think it's the most important thing for our kids, to be that role model.
Yeah, I
Mm.
think we should celebrate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we also need to do a part 2.
Really, you need to come back. So,
yeah.
Lisa, tell us where we can find you, where people can find you, can go and see more of your things.
So I mainly hang out on Facebook. So I'm Lisa Fox on Facebook, and this is my face. I don't know if this is this a podcast where you show the video as well?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my face, and I'm just Lisa Fox on Facebook.
Go to YouTube and check it out.
Yeah. So that's where I mainly hang out. I also have a website, lisafox.ie. IE is the Irish end of a www. So it's www.lisafox.ie. That's me.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for inspiring us and for teaching us and actually coaching us.
You're welcome.
Through this podcast episode. And we need to do part 2.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Rosa.
Bye. See you next time.